The traditional way that people learn how to read music as children is to start at middle C and to learn what middle C is, and then after you learn what middle C is, then to learn what D is, one note above middle C, and then to go down one to B. And then when you can read those three notes, then you learn the third note up, which is E, and the third note down, which is A. And so you play these little songs such as up we go, down we go, and then after you get three notes up and three notes down, guess what? You go four notes up and you go four notes down, and then when you get that down, then you go five notes up and five notes down. This takes about, for the average child starting out, about 6 months to learn that. It's called middle C position in both hands. Okay. Now some people can do it faster, but for the most part, that's about it. Okay. And then in the next 6 months or so, you finally get out to 8 notes up and 8 notes down, and learn what a scale is in the process. And then sometime in the next year, you might get up to the outside perimeters of the clefs, the top of the treble clef and the top of the bass clef. You're in the second year of piano, at least by then. And who knows how long it takes to get up to the ledger lines up high and down low and so on. Some, most never do. Now that's a very good way to learn how to read music if you're a child and if you have a lot of time. But the trouble is, a lot of adults don't have 6 months or 2 years to learn how to read music. They work, I mean, they're doctors or they're teachers or they're engineers or firemen or whatever, and they just don't have that time. So the second option that people take is to not learn. I mean, they see that it takes that long, and they may start lessons, but they soon give up. And all they know is, three notes up and three notes down, and that's about it, right? So, and usually those are the only two possibilities, but there's a third way, and the third way I'd like to tell you about by way of an analogy. Let's say that you were in the middle of a forest, and you were in this little clearing in the middle of the forest. You didn't know where you were. All you saw was this clearing. On the right there was trees, and on the left there was trees, and that was it. Okay, so you step to the right, and you go one tree in or two trees in, and you can't see much, so you go back to the clearing, and then you go to the left, you go one tree in or two trees in or three trees in, and you're worried about getting lost, so you come back to the clearing, and then after a little bit of confusion, you go back to the right, and you go 4 or 5 or 6 trees in, and back to the left. It's just going to take forever for you to find out what the lay of the land is. However, what if you were in an airplane and you flew over that clearing? You could look down at that clearing, and then you could see that clump of trees to the right and the clump of the trees to the left, and you could see that about a half mile on the other side of the clump of trees to the right is a river, and about a mile to the left, past the clump of trees, is a mountain, and straight ahead there's a cliff, and blah blah blah. And you see the lay of the land, and you understand, what the lay of the land is. And so then you could land, couldn't you, in that clearing, and then you could confidently walk towards the river or towards the mountain or wherever you wanted to go. You wouldn't be great because you wouldn't be an experienced hiker or experienced climber or whatever, but you'd have some idea of where you were. You wouldn't be totally lost or confused. Well, it's that same way in music, and I can take you in about 3 or 4 hours up in a plane and fly you over the whole subject of reading music. And from that vantage point in the airplane, we can look down, and you and I can see what melody is and the parameters of melody, how it works in the treble clef, how it works in the bass clef. And then we can look down and we can see what rhythm looks like, and we can see how measures work and time values and time signatures work. And then we can look down and we can see how harmony works, how chords interface with the melody and with the rhythm, and so on. And we can see how it all comes together. Then we can land. We can land back in the clearing, which is, where we start on the piano, and we have a pretty good idea how to proceed from there. Will we be great? No, we won't be great, but we'll have an overall idea of how it works, and we'll know where we want to go. There's another advantage too, is we'll see where we don't want to go. As you look down, you may say, okay, I don't want to mess with the left-hand side here. I don't want to mess with the bass clef. I want to get really good at reading the right hand or the treble clef part. I want to play chords in the left hand. You see, you can see what you don't want to learn, and so that you can save months just by knowing what you don't want to pursue. Okay, so I hope that you will join me in my flight over the subject of music. It's called How to Read Music in One Evening, and of course, like I say, you won't be great at all, but you'll know what the lay of the land is, and you'll know where to go from there. Okay, so in about 3 or 4 hours, and of course, you don't have to do it in one evening. You can, take as long as you want. You can do it in 3 sessions or 4 sessions or a week or whatever you want to do. But if you want to just set aside 3 or 4 hours in one evening, you can get the lay of the land, and then from then on, you'll know what the parameters of reading music is all about. So I invite you to come up on the plane with me, and hope that you do. Thanks.